Krista Kafer, the co-host of Kelly and Kafer on KNUS Radio, is here to talk about these developments this week. And this was a messy breakup, to say the very least.
Yes, a total mess. And you think about the two narratives. One is that, Comey knew something, he was too close. Well, I don't think that's true because, if he had known something, why not keep him close and not fire him? There's a reason why J. Edgar Hoover never got fired, right? He knew stuff. The other narrative is that somehow Comey mishandled, and perhaps he did mishandle, some aspects of the Hillary Clinton investigation last year. And so now, how many months into his tenure, President Trump decided to fire him? I don't think that holds water either. I think the explanation that Jim Comey was not a company man, was not loyal to Trump, but loyal to the country is probably the reason that President Trump fired him.
Well, and we're getting mixed messages from the White House, which I think puts a lot of people ill at ease about this whole mess.
Well, I think it's going to be a shadow that follows him throughout his presidency. I mean, not just the things he said and did during the campaign, but the things that he's said and done since, including the messy rollout of the refugee ban, the messy rollout of the sanctuary city ban. These kinds of messes are going to continue to dog him. And if he wanted to finally get rid of the Russian collusion shadow, I'm not sure this is the way he should have done it.
A Scripps flash poll asked people what reason they believe James Comey was fired, and a huge majority, 67%, linked it to the Russian investigation. Less than a third linked it to the Hillary Clinton email scandal, and the rest thought it was some other reason. So what does that say to you about the Trump presidency?
I think it's going to continue to impact his polling. I mean, these kinds of decisions don't look good. They don't look like he's got it together. It doesn't look like he's got leadership skills. And count me in the third group. I think it was something else. I don't think it was Russian collusion, just simply because life's not that interesting. I mean, the idea that there would be sort of a cloak and dagger Russian connection directly to President Trump just seems unlikely to me. But to his campaign, there's always a possibility.
And do you think people sitting at home, do they care about this, or are they starting to care more because we're seeing multiple issues?
If anyone's in the neutral category still, those are the people they're going to be impacted. Because you think about those who absolutely hate Trump will hate Trump no matter what. Those who love Trump will love Trump no matter what. But I think there is a group of people who really wanted him to be a good president, that voted for him because they knew about the Supreme Court being so important, and they knew that they felt like he would be a better candidate and a better president than Hillary Clinton. It's those folks that I think might start to feel disappointed by President Trump's leadership.
Well, we will see what happens. Krista Kafer, as always, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.